It is the 7th of October 2021 and I'm Patricia Lokoma Mpango. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Judiciary will still be following the law stipulated in regards to the bail with offenders and capital offences as they wait for the President's proposal with stakeholders to address the issue of bail. Deputy Chief Justice Richard Butera revealed this during his visit at the Masaka High Court. And that is how we start our news. Good afternoon.
The Deputy Chief Justice, Richard Butera, has paid a courtesy visit to Masaka courts to see how they operate. During his visit, the Deputy CJ, Richard Butera, emphasized more on the judiciary's take in regards to giving bail to capital offences.
The President said that he is going to put his proposal to the stakeholders to debate. I expect that Parliament shall debate the proposal. Members of the Judiciary will give their views. Other members of the public, including journalists like yourself, and other members of the Ugandan public will give their views. Parliament shall debate and come up with the law. Whatever the law is, the court system shall implement.
Justice Butera explains that depending on the nature of the offence, any court can exercise its discretion to grant someone bail.
In respect of considerations for bail, we insist that our judicial officers look at the laws, decided cases, and considerations for grant or not grant of bail. Otherwise, judicial officers have a discretion to grant bail to you or not to grant bail on application. The accused person has a right to apply for bail. The accused person has a right to apply for bail, but the bail can only be granted on the discretion of the judicial officer to whom the application is made.
Deputy CJ Butera says Judiciary has strategic plans of addressing issues of case backlog and the congestion in prisons.
Agreeing on strategies for doing that, including pre-bargain systems, getting sessions, getting funding for these activities to take place. We have discussed and we are continuing to discuss the volume of work that they have and the strategies that can be used to reduce the congestion in the prisons and the delay of cases generally.
In attendance were judges, court registrars, magistrates and chief magistrates, court clerks, among others. Nathan Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
Now, Ugandans have been urged to maintain hand-washing practice even during post-COVID period. The Director of Water Development in the Ministry of Water, Engineer Joseph Oriano Iatu, was launching the Global Hand-Washing Week that is commemorated on every 15th of October.
The different actors in the hand hygiene promotion struggle to embrace the practice and continue to do the following. For researchers, make hand hygiene research publicity available and translate complex findings into easy-to-use guidance. Institutions prioritize hand hygiene infrastructure and policies within schools, healthcare facilities, workplaces, and public settings. Government develop and fund country roadmap towards universal hand hygiene. Donors invest in inclusive hand hygiene programs that drive behavioral change. Private sector make hand hygiene product accessible and affordable for all.
We have it is about how we sustain that. And one of the also issues that we had in terms of media, when we talk here, we are looking our children and women and in the remote villages. And one thing that we have seen is the reach of the radio. In many of the work in the communication that we have seen, it is the radio which has a maximum reach. How I know the colleagues are from different medias, the newspaper, the TV, but also I would like to highlight the importance of how we can get through whatever way it means to the radio which we can reach to the maximum masses out there.
Japanese have been wearing masks even though they are not feeling ill. And even before COVID-19, they're taking some social distances from people, but I think this is not from their sense of hygiene. This is not because their sense of hygiene is good, but this is because Japanese are very...
Now over to Mpigi. Different political leaders in Mpigi district have promised to work together and avoid partisan politics for the development of their district. The vow to prioritize quality services delivery is to the communities, and it is to support government programs aimed at development. This was during the opening of a 3-day Mpigi district leadership induction of higher level and lower local government councillors that was held at Buama sub-county headquarters.
Political leaders at different levels in all sub-counties of Mpigi district have decided to avoid partisan politics during this term in office. They vow to support government programs aimed at development to enable quality service delivery of their communities. The National Unity Platform, with majority of the councillors, followed by NRM and DP respectively, have promised to put aside their partisan politics but work together for the development of Mpigi district. This was during the official opening of the 3 days leadership training in Mpigi district, organized by the Ministry of Local Government and Koika, Uganda, held at Buama sub-county headquarters.
Do our services nicely without mixing politics to services. That's what I'm going to do, to see that the two are not mixed up. You can't succeed when you mix the two. What you have to know is that you have to get the differentiation between the two. That's where you are going to do what you are supposed to do. People do not need politics. People do need their services on the ground to be okay.
Every councillor is going to put his effort on what he was elected for. I know many councillors are very new in leadership, in this leadership. But what we are going to do is let's put politics aside. Let us move on.
The side of avoiding politics. People elected us to serve them, but not to come and fight battles of politics. So that one is a bit, it needs to be put aside. Then
The Mpigi District LC 5 chairperson Martin Sejemba, who was the chief guest, says the training is timely, especially for leaders who have just been in office for the first time. Sejemba encouraged the youth to stop politicking, support government-aided programs.
Encourage the lower local government councillors, leaders, to pay attention and get inducted into the do's and don'ts, the laws, their responsibilities, because it is different to have the knowledge, but even understanding when to apply it is very key in development and transforming our society, our district. We need to have leaders who know what to do when, how to monitor and how to report and how to enforce implementation of government programs. So it is very key for the leaders to get enlightened and urge them to apply and pay attention to get to know what to do at what time.
The project manager, Korea International Cooperation Agency in Uganda, Haisang Park, promised to continue training communities in Uganda, especially in Mpigi and Mityana districts, where they have branches to change people's mindset.
Really and improve its well-being. So therefore, I would like to commend the leadership of the Ministry of Local Government for being proactive to train the new leaders. And I hope after this training, there will be a change in their attitude and as well as their mindset as leaders. And I would like to recommend the ESMB team for working tirelessly to make sure that this training happens.
Over 200 people are attending the training by Ministry of Local Government and Koika, Uganda. Sandra Kahunde, Salongo Kasibante, UBC News.
And in court, fixing the hearing of the bail application for MPs Alan Sewanyana and Mohamed Segirinya have flopped at the Masaka High Court. This was after the legal team was told that the trial judge, Victoria Kavman Nachinto, was away handling election petitions in Fort Portal.
MPs Mohamed Segirinya for Kawempe North and Alan Sewanyana, representing Machindia West, will have to stay more days in Chigo government prison until 13th October after their bail application flopped. The legal team led by Arias Lukwago could not fix the hearing date on grounds that the trial judge, Victoria Kavman Nachinto, was engaged with other state duties in Fort Portal.
We are being promised by the registrar. We have engaged the registrar. She has told us that right now the High Court is not ready to entertain the bail application. She has told us that the judge is not around. She's handling election petitions in Fort Portal, and that they are going to engage the PJ, that is the principal judge, and the resident judge in a meeting tomorrow to have a resolution on the next course of action.
Kawempe North Member of Parliament, Mohamed Segirinya, and that for Machindia West, Alan Sewanyana, are facing charges related to murder, attempted murder, terrorism, among others.
We've got rumors that there are fresh charges against our clients. We've got those rumors today here at court, and I've engaged the police officers, the DPC, and the resident state attorney. They have informed me that as of now, there are no charges. If they find any charges against the two honorables, they're going to notify us in time and notify the right honorable speaker with summons.
Although the two were recently released on bail by the International Crime Division in Kololo, they were rearrested and slapped with 7 fresh charges at Masaka High Court. They will appear at Masaka High Court on 13th October 2021 for the mention of the case. Natongo Rebecca, Namamonde Deborah, UBC News.
And in a special report in one of our continued series about the formation of political parties and their impacts towards Uganda's independence since 1962, that is October 9th, 1962, Timothy Sibasi in the part 2 looks at the Progressive Party formation in 1955 by Eridadi Molera, the Uganda People Union, that is UPU, that was formed between 1958 and 1959, and how the Uganda People's Congress of Dr. Apollo Meleton Obote formed in 1960 and then emerged with the UPU to form a consolidated party that was in the area of politics in Uganda, and then at the same time presented a consolidated, a common program to the people for complete independence in 1962. Details in this exclusive report will feature Dr. Samuel Kaziwe, a lead researcher, a lecturer at Uganda Christian University and a scholar of philosophy at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. Let's hear more.
From the Uganda National Congress of Ignatius Musazi to the Democratic Party of Matayo Mugwanya and the pitfalls that led to their crumble, tonight I explore about the Progressive Party formed in 1955 by Eldad Mulira. Little is known about the Progressive Party. Like other pitfalls that characterize the crumble of UNC and DP, the PP was not exceptionary, and towards independence in 1962, it experienced a phase of leadership struggles which completely ran it down. By 1961, Mulira, the founding father, had already been replaced by Dr. Babumba.
In fact, at a later stage, it explains why majority of them collapsed. Even those that acquired power at independence could not survive. They collapsed over their own weight, because even UBC at independence was not run as a political party. That's why Obote had to arrest 5 of his ministers in a cabinet meeting, just because they expressed dissenting opinions.
Much as it was able to send its constitutional proposals to the Constitutional Commission towards independence, it was unable to send a representative neither to the Legislative Council nor to the London Constitutional Conference.
So you can't blame Progressive Party at the time for failing to have a representative in the Legislative Council here in Uganda and a representative in the Lancaster Conference. In fact, you had 3 important meetings leading to our independence. You had Mabra House 1 in 1960, you had Lancaster 1 in 61, and Lancaster 2 in 61 towards the end, that heralded our independence.
With that, the PP was no more. It collapsed on its own weight. Its exit from Uganda's political arena in the build-up to independence gave birth to Uganda People's Union between 1958 to 1959. It held a nationalistic image. Its leadership came from different social groups and regions of Uganda, unlike other parties which were largely Baganda-led and Baganda-based.
UNC, Uganda National Congress, Democratic Party, had battled the British for some time before joining those political parties, because they had participated in the politics from the 40s. But here you had a new entrant, and the British were much more comfortable in dealing with Milton Obote.
Like other political parties that were built on religious foundations and later contributed to their pitfalls, the religious factor too played in the formation of UPU, though its founders kept on denying the claim.
There are quite a number of undisputable facts that the Democratic Party was largely started by dissatisfied Catholics who felt that they were not being effectively represented by the existing political parties. That's a fact. The other comment about UPU is also a fact, because you see the major parties you had again were led by Baganda. So there were people from other regions whose view was, can we seize this opportunity?
While the Democratic Party was formed by Catholics to fight injustice, the Uganda People's Union was formed to contain Buganda's political hegemony and bridge the gap where the Baganda were really failing to facilitate the struggle for independence.
It was a problem then. It is also a problem today. But you have also got to appreciate that since independence, you've not had serious, meaningful, multi-party democracy. So you're talking about a framework that has not had the necessary experience.
However, its crumble was hinged on personalities of individual leaders, which they thought were key as much as their ideas.
So Obote was able to lead Uganda to independence because he lacked principles. For him, the end justified the means. Probably, if we had taken 1 or 2 more years discussing in Lancaster and gotten our independence in 1964, probably the history of this country would have been different.
As a result, Uganda People's Congress, formed in 1960, exploited on the weaknesses and struck a deal for a merger with Uganda People's Union, and they consolidated party politics in Uganda. They represented a common program to the people for complete independence in 1962.
Within the Uganda National Congress, there were 3 main disagreements. 1, the Catholics; 2nd, the Protestants; but 3rd, the Uganda Royalists.
I do not subscribe to the view that if a party is based on religion or an ethnic group, then it can't flourish in a democracy. It is an outright lie peddled by the West to demonize anything not known to them.
Despite of these, there were other parties, but which did not have a significant impact. Some were made of one family, one person, a character that still plays on Uganda's political arena. Part 3 continues tomorrow with an expert analysis on what happened a year to independence, the alliance of UBC and Kabaka. Was it a marriage of convenience? What happened? Much and many more will be revealed, not anywhere, but on UBC tonight. Timothy Sibasi, UBC.
And with that story, we take a short break and return with more news.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175*94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy a 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175*94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
My home, I smile when I think of you, Uganda. My home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey mama. At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
Get vaccinated today so we can get closer to the normal way of life. Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa.
Welcome back. As we look into the world of business, Netherlands government has awarded $300,000 to West Nile to help boost agri-entrepreneurs' production within the region. The private companies awarded are engaged in commercial agribusiness and are expected to utilize the grant to employ more youths into the agricultural sector.
In the West Nile have received $300,000 as a grant from the Netherlands government to boost farming, production and related businesses in the region. 10 agri-entrepreneurs are to focus on fighting poverty among farmers in the refugee settlements and the host communities. The commercial companies are encouraged to make profit and carry out value addition to cassava and sesame value chains.
Linking the enterprise to innovations, input and machineries that will improve productivity in terms of quantity and quality. On value addition in cassava processing and sim oil extraction, we are linking them to UDB to access the machines. We are also developing relationship with major off-takers for the cassava.
The grantees have been asked to grow and promote production of high-yielding varieties of sim and sweet cassava for better value addition. Several organizations and government agencies are trying hard to change the mindset of farmers to grow the crops for commercial purpose.
So our engagement with oak plotters is also based on the fact that oak plotters should link all these grantees and products to a market. They are not doing it for free, they will earn from it, but they have to link it to a market. So the trickle-down effect is that the new seed variety that you provide in sesame, the new seed variety that you provide in cassava should be market-driven.
Stefano Pio warned against misuse of the grants, but rather use it appropriately so that they do not block opportunities for others. Handing over the grants in a rural town, the Netherlands ambassador to Uganda, Ms. Karine Boven, expressed her optimism in the project execution.
The support to the sesame, sim and cassava value chains is one of the interventions through which we are working together with the government of Uganda and the private sector towards securing adequate livelihood opportunities for both refugees and host communities. And it's important for the Netherlands that no one is left behind, and therefore I'm so thrilled to hear that women and youth, besides the men, are also included in all of these interventions.
One of the beneficiaries, Manasseh Asidri, doing sesame value addition through extract of oil from sesame, said that the grant is a boost for them to ensure that there is a value addition to the sesame, and this will enable them tap into the untapped products.
The support which ILO has given to us to work with the ag plotters so that our smallholder farmers, their eyes can be open that they are not supposed to depend on only free gifts, but they have to at least do farming as a business which is sustainable.
The grantees include Baga Commodities Limited, Yield Harvest, Equator Seeds Uganda Limited, Grain Trade Development Services Limited, New Beginning Investment Limited, Palm Business Consults and Agric Supplies Limited, Rural Society of Development Agency, Multipurpose Farm Network and Kawacom Uganda Limited.
It will also help to improve the livelihood of the farmers, particularly the women and the youths, because those are our target farmers. When you see the 3,000 farmers I talked about, they are youths and women particularly.
Sandra Kahunde, Vincent Wamundu, UBC News.
And on the international scene, Southern African Regional Bloc SADC agreed at a summit on Tuesday to extend a troop deployment in Mozambique to help the government fight an Islamic State-linked insurgency. The summit approved the extension of the SADC mission in Mozambique to continue with offensive operations against terrorists and violent extremists, the bloc said in a communique after top officials met in Pretoria, South Africa.
But you have also afforded SADC to demonstrate its commitment to fostering the unity and the integration of the Southern African development community.
The summit was silent on the impact of the Rwandese troops in Cabo Delgado. This worried some analysts.
There has been no collaboration on the ground between SADC forces and the Rwandese forces in Mozambique. The summit will have taken advantage of this opportunity to extend a hand to the Rwandese forces in Mozambique so that there should be better collaboration. But what I see so far, the fact that the summit has been completely silent about the issue, for me signals that it is a continuation of the tension existing between the two forces in Mozambique.
Well, that does bring us to the end of our lunchtime news. Thank you so much for being with us. My name is Patricia Lokoma Mpango. A very good afternoon to you. Stay tuned.
Uganda is born again, free and independent.